Recording in progress. There's the computer lady. Here
Hello.
we are, back at the Hippodrome. It's fight night. Woo!
It's fight. No, it's fight prep night. We're not gonna have a session long enough to fight.
No, it'll be fight night later at the Hippodrome. Chariot races, gambling, drinking, betting on fights. So you all came out to Duke Varen's Mystic Hippodrome in search of your contact. The name you were given was Severin, and you have sort of been feeling your way out, feeling your way into the place, feeling out how things work, played a couple of games, won a little money, basically just got a feel for the place. Now it's just a question of how far you're going to push your luck. I love that shaking immediately, like, no, 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 no.
Well, there was talk of you and I going into the high rollers room if that's where Saffron. No, not Saffron. What's his name? I already forgot.
Severin,
Severin.
if
I've been,
that's where he went.
yeah, if that's where he goes, yeah. Sorry, I'm going through Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance. Saffron's a character, so it's just the name is in my head.
All right, so before we get to that, though, this is a work in progress. Are you guys seeing the map?
We are.
We are. That is
Indeed.
pretty.
Okay.
Ooh.
Work in progress, a thing I'm still trying to make. However, this line, this little orange line,
Yeah.
is the path that you have traveled so far. You started over here,
In
Could be
Rockvale.
more direct.
all the way up to Nulzar's Gate, all the way around the top of these Indian plains, and then you went, oh wait, that's the Thardelians. No, 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 down here, down here, down here. And then out to Lithia. And now you're on basically the southern end of Lithia. This sort of gray is all actually water out
Okay,
here.
it's about what I thought. Yeah.
All we need is to catch a boat ride, and then we can make that full circle.
You can do that, and that is actually a trade route. There are a bunch of coastal cities along here, all the way around to Trokal, the Bay
Yeah.
of Trokal.
Including Trokal.
And all we got to do is then we can, take our boat back to Trokal, head back to Nulzar's Gate, take that river route down under the mountain.
So,
Well, I've gotten potions by then, so mission accomplished.
essentially,
Several levels.
the war things that were part of the political discussion earlier, this is essentially the places, John, you were saying about I kept sort of waving my hands and pointing directions. The theocracy of Syracuse has taken the two main passes through the spine and headed towards the Zintian plains. That's when they declared war, they came through the trade passes. That's why Nulzar's Gate was shutting down when you were there.
Okay.
Yes.
So that right there is a hot spot. Now, the Red Lady has apparently decided she needs to go over there to deal with that in some form or fashion. But in order to do that, she's going right across the Azinthian plains. Or at least that's the rumor.
I did forget to mention, and I would have remembered this, but I missed it on review. The prevailing theory is that the theocracy of Syracuse is backing the Crimson Crescent.
Oh, we figured that.
What do you mean we? That's news to me.
Yeah, I forgot to mention it on the other session, but
Yeah, what
again,
was that
on
middle
review-
part about the police? Oh, never mind.
Well,
Sorry,
That's why I'm
we,
saying it
officer.
now, right
No,
at the
that's fine.
start, because it's something Elspeth would have told you when she was
Good.
asking why did the Thardelians marching across the Zintian plains.
Yeah.
Get to the other side. Oh, wait.
They're
Yeah,
bringing their chickens.
and that would actually help, it's stapled to the punker. But yeah, that would actually give them more reason than I thought they had. So
Yeah,
that's good to
which is
know.
why I realized I had screwed up.
Okay. Well, I've already got a screenshot of it, Eric, so now it's permanently in my files.
There is more.
Oh, that's fine, but this at least I can look at and go, okay, about there. That's good enough. Thank you very much.
All right. So, like I said, it's an in progress piece, but we may revisit that. Until then, we are likely going to stick with your local maps.
Yeah.
Cool.
Works.
Because it is fight night after all. As you had worked your way in, gone to various tables, as it gets later, the crowd begins to swell. You get more and more people in. It becomes more and more crowded. Money is changing hands. Stuff is moving. It all has a very smooth flow. They know what they're about. Would everyone give me perceptions, please?
16.
Oh, what a lovely way to start off the night.
17.
7.
Yeah. So
28.
not Elspeth.
Elsbeth, 7. I'm watching people play cards. Wee! Thea. Come on, these people.
Sorry, I'm busy memorizing the deck. Pardon me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed Dundon and Yadu.
16 for Yadu.
I had 17.
I
Okay.
haven't rolled yet because I'm trying to futz around with screens.
It's okay. You're busy.
Hold on. Stop switching around in ways that I do not want.
Essentially, Thea, you see it pretty clearly, but Dundon and ooh, look at that. I saw a screen pop up with Dundon's die there real quick.
I was testing it.
Oh, 24. Sorry.
Okay, you and
It's really
Thea
cool.
seem to have perhaps it is the greater age of your characters in general, but you've started to notice as you're seeing all of this flow, all of these people making all these moves, doing all these games, playing all this stuff. This is the flow of money is such that you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem, they say high rollers, but how high are we talking here? And your bets are like essentially what amount to like topping out at like 10, 15, 20 gold pieces max. Most people don't even approach that. Most people are 5 and under.
I rolled sure.
So like it's a solid flow. There's a bunch of money, but it's a lot of like silver, copper, maybe a gold piece.
Yeah, okay.
They're not
Oh,
they are not pushing like you're like, oh, how much are they betting? No, none of that.
so me just throwing the coins on the thing with little care was unusual for there.
About to make yourself a target.
No, it was more of a you're new here sort of feeling. And it was sort of one of those like, oh, not only are you early, but you dropped heavy coin immediately, like blah, here we go. Now that you're looking around, you're like, oh, see, this is like as much as it's the gambling thing, they're working to make sure they maintain the flow. And as you're looking at it, and if you point it out to Elsbeth, she'll do the counts for you, I'm sure. Much like any casino, the house is winning.
The house will always win. in
The
the
house
end.
always wins. They are raking in the money, but not at such a prodigious rate as to be
Sustainable.
obnoxiously obvious or unsustainable. They want
Yeah.
this to continue, and that's pretty clear.
Mm.
Eventually, the dueling duo do start up. You can hear them. It is muted because they are behind the big stone screen. And the later it gets, more and more people until they start off later in the evening. The first chariot race inside here, and they're little. They're not big chariots. They're like the little two-wheel, one driver kind of chariot things.
Mhm.
One horse just sort of whipping around the hippodrome, kind of, they're not big like Romanesque
Yeah.
chariot races. They're very small scale. And the bets are going. I don't know if any of you want to place a bet. We can do like percentages of winnings for you or losings, whichever. We can do opposed rolls if you want to bet. There's a bunch of, folks that are sort of wandering through the crowds like, hey, how's, what's the odd, who's coming up, talk about
Yeah.
names, things like that. Eventually the races stop, and you can see off to sort of if you crowd up to the fence line, essentially here, most of the folks that crowd the fence line start to see off to the left that there are various fighters, various forms, who are headed out into the middle of the arena, basically. And then as the evening progresses, they have various rounds, various fights that go on. Are there any particulars about the fights that you are looking for early on?
First off, does anybody look like they are the manager of a stable of fighters? Multiple fighters going over to one guy who don't fight.
Not down here.
Okay. And where is off stage for them?
You actually have difficulty seeing it from your angle, but let me get my pointer again. There's a gate right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from your angle, looking across here,
Mm-hmm.
you struggle to see the corner where, they get a certain amount of staging there,
Mm-hmm.
but you actually do see, or actually do get a sense of, as sort of if you lean in, you can see that the folks right around in here
Yeah.
get a pretty good view of the whole thing.
I was
There
about to say
isn't-
now I have a reason to want to go in the high rollers room.
There isn't a lot of action that happens towards this end. There is a locked gate here, so they
Mhm.
could flow directly through if they needed to, but not a ton goes on down here. They
Gotcha.
generally tend to stay this area.
Mhm.
Okay.
Not always. Fights are very random things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I vote we go to the high roller area.
Yeah, that gives me two reasons that likely our contact is there. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yep.
They've got the best view of the fights and they can gamble heavily. I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm probably better to stay out here and keep an eye just in case. Being that I attract a little more attention than y'all. So who do we want to send in?
I'll go. I have an amulet which basically says, "Hey, look, you should talk to me. I'm part of the shtick."
And you'll
Yeah,
want
once look
backup,
around.
so I'll go with you. And I think I just heard Theo volunteer.
Yep, Theo come.
All right, so Dunn and you and I, why don't we go ahead and spread out along this wall a little bit
Yeah.
and
Keep
just
our ears open.
keep our ears and eyes and let them go do their thing.
All right.
We need to get a high rollers pass.
So
There's-
the high rollers thing, you essentially, as you've sort of gleaned through this, you could ask one of the dealers, or you could head to the money cage, basically.
Okay, we don't have to go back to the entrance like I thought. All right.
So the dealers will direct you to the money cage. That's one of those, if there was a thing, and they tell you that as you go over to ask about it. As a then, you're up front in this conversation.
So it would seem.
Sure.
Have you changed your look at all?
What you mean, early ragamuffin?
No.
So still a little dirty, crusty around the edges. Not exactly flash, if you will.
No.
Other than the staff. You stand out because of that.
And a large pouch of gold.
So as you first walk up, you can see it's clear. You don't even need a perception roll. You can see the person behind the cage is just like not even. They're like, no, may I help you. That kind of like that attitude-y, like, what the
Mhm.
hell is this guy gonna do? And may I help you?
I need access to the high rollers area. I'm just going to take the coin pouch out and just set it on the counter set.
There was you could see it. There was that moment of, oh sure you do. That was right there. The person goes,
Uh-huh.
yes,
I need
sir.
access. Thanks.
And then they proceed to explain to you that the pass is a non-refundable 50 gold up front. And then to continue the pass later will be based on bets and earnings, so that you can continue this long term. And there's this like layout of rules and addenda and
Mid-level marketing. Yeah.
Gotta get that right.
Yeah, timeshare.
right. However, they will happily take your 50 gold and give you the special token.
Fantastic. All right. I give them the 50 gold.
And
I've-
will each
I've
of
spent
you
more on alchemy
Yep.
ingredients.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I'm paying.
That's a bit. I spent more on ingredients.
Yeah, see, he looks weird. He looks like he should be out on the street. But when you have enough money, that's just eccentricity.
That's right. When you're not when you're rich, you're not crazy. You're
Yeah,
eccentric.
eccentric. Yep.
And you can have as dirty a set of shower shoes as you want.
Listen, my team has earrings worth more than your annual salary. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Nice.
Honestly, being rude is playing the part, but
Okay, so
As
Who's
much as I hate
playing
to
a
say.
part?
Thea and Elsbeth, you guys are going to in as
Yep.
well.
yeah, why not? This sounds so interesting.
Okay. They will direct you. Oh, here's me not paying attention again. When you come around the corner, you do note that there is an armed guard right here at the corner that you could not see until you walked over there.
Got a
Nice.
feeling.
And there's another armed guard that you could see. That particular armed guard is guarding the passage. Pointer here. Essentially, this is like the back room for the dealers headed this way.
Mm.
Ah,
but they will direct you once you have your passes around the corner and straight on in. At which time, da, 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 you
Ooh.
see
Pretty.
the high rollers room, and it's busy. There's a bunch of people there, including in the middle that big set of purple stairs.
Yeah.
Whoa! Don't go moving my
Oh,
don't go moving my
dude.
stuff, man.
Sorry.
Just
Nice.
just
In,
trashing the place already.
in truth, the stairs were a mimic.
All right, I'll fix it. There we go. Now you can't do that anymore.
Apologies.
We know you look homeless. Don't trash the place already.
Just blowing shit up straight in the door.
Walks in, cast fireball.
So lower level tables with food, like hors d'oeuvres, drink folks walking around. Each of the red pieces, left and right, are steps that go up. The wooden area is a raised platform, basically like a second floor, that has been built up, and it looks over the top of the fence, essentially, with an unobstructed view of the arena. The purple stairs in the middle have an armed guard at the top on either side. Essentially, very much a you don't belong here vibe of don't walk up those stairs. At the top, there is a massive chair. And in that massive chair is an equally massive person.
Oh.
Oh.
This is Sparta. Sorry.
Yeah. And sitting next to him is an equally massive keg
Very
that,
nice.
that he has tapped because it's in arm's reach.
All right, fair enough.
What's the vibe off of this gen? I'm in charge, but the look of that says champion fighter to me.
Which is synonymous with I'm in charge in the fight pits. Yeah.
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 Uh,
Earn
it
up in the fight
screams-
pits, you own the fight pits. Yeah.
It screams power and not to be generally fucked with.
So as you are all sort of getting acclimated, there's been a bunch of different fights that have transpired through the course of the evening. Folks are sort of, crashing here and there, stuff's going on. And where did my guy go? I lost my guy. Oh dear. It's just going to be like that today.
Please stand by for technical difficulties.
There he is. Okay. Train of thought. Derailed, no survivors. Okay. High roller. Busy,
Yes.
better dressed, higher money, higher bets. You see folks, they get in little groups, they have their own conversations. This is clearly the see and be seen area as well as higher level entertainment, keeping all the rest of the folks out.
Mhm.
It reaches a point. Are any of you going to go up to the seats where you can see the fights better, or are you
I
gonna stay
kind
down?
of do, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. So you spend a little time, grab a little food, little,
Grab some
snacks,
hors
drinks,
d'oeuvres.
whatever. Elsbeth, when you get up there, because you're going to have to go you're going to, in order to get up there, you
Right. I have to
you
go
can't take
here.
those. You have to either take
Yeah, I have to
these
go this
stairs
way. Yeah.
or these stairs. And there doesn't appear to be a lot of crossover through there. When you get up onto that deck and you realize the dude in that chair is massive. Like, not physically strictly human. Can't be. Gotta be 8.5 feet tall. Easy. Hard to tell because he's sitting down and he's got one gigantic boot set on the top of one of the fence posts. For you folks that are in there, give me just a quick perception.
Oh, great. Another 7.
You
30,
I got
might
a
have been
27.
distracted by the fact that he's twice your size. Easily. What would Thea, what was yours?
27.
Oh, of course. Old or Azathan?
30-20.
Okay. You two happen to be looking and you're like, oh, well, how about that? He's not unarmed.
Mm-hmm.
He's not holding anything, but basically wedged into the back corner of his monumental chair is a giant halberd.
Very nice.
Perks of the house.
And he seems to be rather enjoying himself. Not outrageously, but there are no people around him other than the 2 guards standing behind him. He is just drinking and watching fights.
Okay.
As you're settling in, you're kind of getting your seats, you hear the announcing person, here we go, here we go. Here's the feature fight of the night. We'd love you all to welcome your favorite and ours. Here comes the whip. And out from underneath the little platform area down here comes this maybe 5 feet tall, half sort of rat looking person. Like, even more so, like, this is definitely a rat person, not a person with rat like features. This is a rat person, but he's completely bald. Like, there's no hair there. And his tail is really weirdly skin flesh tone pink. It's kind of odd.
Yeah.
But he is, as advertised, armed with a fighting whip and a dagger.
You said
As-
this is like a whole, like this is a not just a person with rat features. This is a rat folk.
Basically, yeah.
How are they particularly common?
No, they are not.
Fascinating.
They are vanishingly rare, in fact. And as you are collectively seeing the fabulous, because he starts with the showboat, right? He starts with the whip is whipping around, he's cracking, and it looks like he's taking on all of the remaining fighters.
Oh my.
As this is going on, one of the serving people strolling behind you, last chance, place your bets, last chance, place your bets. The odds on
gonna place a bet.
Severin losing are 2-1 against.
There's our contact.
Player
Why,
brain shorting out. The odds are 2-1 of him losing. That means we get more if he loses.
We get
Yeah.
more if you. We get more if you.
Sorry, I don't gamble, so I don't know how this odds shit works.
It seems when you hear that, you're like, that seems a little shaky.
That seems like that's a rigged fight.
Yeah.
However, are any of you going to bet against him?
Absolutely not.
Ah,
This place is getting 50 gold, and that's it for me.
Mr.
Okay.
High Roller.
I only need to come here once. Hopefully.
I'm curious. I'm not even paying attention to the odds maker here because I want to pay attention to what this whip guy is doing to clearly he's warming up with these scrubs. I'm curious. I'm actually doing the site a bit. I'm curious if there's magic involved here. In the weapon, in the any of the equipment, or if it's just skill.
well, that guy is magical.
So as you do the site,
Mhm.
as you do that, you do see there is a slight difference in the aura of the area itself. The area itself is absolutely blood soaked. So there's a certain vibe that you're getting off of that, just the area.
Yeah.
Him, not so much. This is straight up. You're like, none of that stuff looks magical.
Okay.
It's a little distracting though, because to your left is like the disco ball in this area. That guy to your left just radiates power.
He himself or his equipment?
Yes.
I believe we call that a threat.
But he is absolutely doing 0 things with it. He's sitting there getting hammered.
Which, respect.
So, if you don't place any bets, that's fine.
No.
What if
Which one
he is
was
gonna look
pointed out?
around?
Azathan, what's that?
Which one was pointed out as Severin?
The whip,
Rat person.
the rat guy, this
Okay.
guy.
Our fighter.
Oh,
Severin the whip.
gotcha.
Who's he facing?
All the remaining
Yes.
fighters.
All the remaining fighters.
Oh, I thought this was the warm up to a bigger fight.
No. This is the feature of the night.
It's about to go down.
Now, not a warm up, and these guys are the survivors from previous rounds. So, whilst not perhaps not at a level that would compete with the professional fighters you have with you, they're not scrubs. They survived so far.
Yeah, but this is
We're ready.
Severin
to
here
die.
is fresh. He's got a ranged weapon.
You should
This
bet.
is
It is the high roller area, right?
Thea's gonna bet.
Okay. You gonna bet
Severin
on him
winning
to
or
lose?
losing?
Why not both?
No, Severin I see winning this one.
Why not place a bet on both sides? One way or another, somebody's guaranteed to win.
Well, you get the other side then.
No, I already paid my money.
Oh Jesus! So did they.
Wow.
The cheapest person in the high roller room, hands
Yeah.
down. I paid for the snacks. I'm gonna go eat.
Yeah, as interesting
Where's
as
my
it would be
drink?
for me to bet, think I've got my attention's being split here between the fight out of curiosity, but this big dude with so much power in him.
Well, I want to see if flashing a little bit of coin, that's any of his interests, because he seems to be just overseeing. I want to see what he's noticing.
What are you gonna bet?
What's the minimum required?
Yeah. What is the minimum?
There's no minimums here. This is the high roller room. You determine what you want.
I'll do a
Easy
platinum
cheap.
piece.
Oh,
Thought we were high rolling here.
Oh,
Bam.
all right.
Maybe a better way to say it is, have you seen what others are betting?
Right.
So that you can know what a
Fair
flex
point.
looks like.
Right.
Fair point.
yeah,
Leo's
you're
gonna
smart
use
enough
her
to know that.
perception skills. Yeah.
Okay. Folks here are easily dropping 100 gold pieces on a bet.
Oh, okay.
Easily. You haven't heard a couple of them. A couple of them are clearly more, but they're making those bets privately. You haven't been able to pick up on what those amounts are.
I'll do 300 gold for now.
Okay,
Three
so you're
platinum
betting
pieces.
on your contact?
Severin winning. Yeah.
Okay.
See,
Wait, no,
that-
he's working here. I want to bet on him losing.
You're going to bet on him losing.
Which means you would
Wait,
get
hold on.
600 back, but
Hold on. No, we'll go with him winning because I feel like
Yeah,
he can stir fry away, so that'd be more people would win.
it's a toss up because they advertised his odds of the odds are of him losing.
But we've been noticing that they still do like to win on certain things. So no,
Right.
I'm going to bet that they're going to lose. That he's going to lose.
Okay.
interesting.
Well, it's the token fight of okay, we're going to they're going to bet on him losing, so he takes an L. So that encourages more people to bet. See,
For how long of a streak has he been having?
Good question.
Oh, you didn't do any research before you came in.
to be fair, we didn't know he was a fighter.
Exactly. So you placed your bet, yeah?
Yep.
Because the time was up, so you threw in your 300. He starts off. You can see he's blindingly fast. So he immediately tosses sand at the nearest person, or basically gravel stuff off the
Yeah.
debris off the floor. Feints to the left with a knife and whips one of the dudes off to his right, and sends dude sprawling.
Oof.
Like you can see immediately, like that one caught this dude right across the side of his head.
I lost my money.
She says with authority immediately, I lost my money.
I have made an error in judgment.
He chose poorly.
See, now I don't feel so bad about not gambling.
I have a question too, but
Oh, here I am trying to do it off of the screen that I'm looking at that you're sharing. Derp. These three pull back, each of them wounded. These three try to get in tight and do so effectively. However,
not good.
one of them pays. And you didn't see from your angle, you don't see what he did precisely. but this one staggers off and basically falls down right here.
Hmm.
Does he have a knife in him?
Ooh. He's bleeding profusely. Something got stuck in him.
Is there any sign of medics?
No.
They don't do that.
Yeah, that's what I figured. How do these other fighters look? Are they how good is their equipment? Are they just appear to be wearing something that someone else has died in? Or like
Oh no, this is their, it looks like their own gear. These two remaining around the whip, essentially the three of them tussle, if you will. No one looks to get advantage. There's a bunch of elbows, knees, pommel strike kind of things that they're all working toward. Um it turns ugly for a moment, and then these two figured something out, so they come charging in. However, that does not work to their advantage. He skips aside, pulls this guy into that guy. They crash together as a whip thing, and you can see this guy staggers away with a dagger wound that you didn't even see. You're like, wait a minute, how did that happen?
no, I'm sitting there like they approached this fight all wrong.
He's not even he's not even like, you'd think, oh, it looked like he kind of threw it, kind of like, oh, whatever. Nah, because he's down and bleeding, much like the other guy that landed against the fence. So essentially, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 left. Oh, bad. That's a bad round for Severin. They close on him. Again, they figured out don't stand way far away from the whip. That unfortunately does them no good, as another guy staggers away and falls down with a dagger wound that looks really painful. Essentially, he's eliminated half the competition so far.
Are these like life-threatening wounds or just maiming?
There's going to be some heavy scarring because these guys are not, they're not getting there. You know what I'm saying?
But they're not necessarily going to die from these wounds.
Probably not.
All right.
Assuming they get attention afterward.
Right. Right.
Out of the crowd here,
You do see that Severin got wounded that time. One of the dudes got to him with a knife.
Okay.
If
of the
Severn dies, I want his dagger.
Do you
It's
say
not
that out
magical.
loud?
No.
Yeah, to your
Yes.
companions.
Yes.
Oh.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That
I
is
have-
fantastic.
I have not. I have actually moved away because I'm trying to find a person in the stands here who looks like a pompous twit who loves to hear their own voice.
Okay.
You're in the
Not
high
hard.
roller area. Everyone outside our party wants to hear their own voice.
I know, because I can play games.
Ooh. That was bad. Severin moves. Basically, he does this weird twisting thing as he sort of scampers away from these dudes. Catches this guy, wraps the whip around his head. Thunk. And as this guy's sailing by, dragged by the whip, he punches him twice and leaves him in a heap. Bringing it down to the last two of these fellows circling around. You find a guy who wants to hear his voice.
I'm gonna do. She's gonna modify her voice slightly, go for the breathy, naive, and go. I'm terribly sorry, sir. I'm kind of new here. how do these fights normally? I want him to go on about these fights, about this guy. Pretty girl wants to get a couple questions answered.
He will go on and on. Oh, let me explain to you. Give me another drink. And basically will lay out, you get a bunch of warm-up fights. You get a feature or two, depending. This is like the big wrap-up. It's not a special event night. I mean, not
Yeah.
like a extra huge event, but it's a good night because they've brought Severin in as a fighter, and to see his talent is pretty rare. Most of the fighters are pretty scrappy. There's not a lot of like super bouts, if you will. Essentially they'll circle each other. It doesn't take a shitload of time because the whip is he's just fast. Now
Yeah.
he's bleeding from a number of cuts because he's not untouchable, and he's not using any sort of magical defense, but none of them are. This is a straight fight. And that's really, as this guy likes to go on, and he leans on you and puts his arm around you.
I hate
Yeah.
this. This is such a pig.
He has deep mutton breath.
Ooh, yummy.
The intention here is not magical combat.
What are their
Right,
special?
this is straight up ability, right? Your set of tools, their set of tools, your abilities, their abilities.
Ooh. So this is all up Thea's alley then.
I mean, sort of. You've been depending on magical daggers for a really long time.
Yeah, fair enough.
This is-
Yeah.
It does seem just
Yeah.
so unfair. 5 against 1.
He points out that it's actually 6. It's delightful. You should learn to count. Uh, he's going to talk down to you for the rest of the time that you talk to him, like you're a moron. It takes probably even 3. Ooh, there's a bad hit against the competitor. 4, he staggers, and brief comeback. They tangle, and he tried to get in close. Severin makes a maneuver, gets around him. It's a weird twisting dance step, and he wraps the whip around this dude's head and just yanks him off of his feet. Punctures him 3 times on the way down and leaves him in a heap against the fence. Much to the crowd going berserk.
Mm-hmm.
Thea, you bet against him. You lose.
Yep. She's just gonna shell out the 300 gold piece.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna sneak away from this.
Yes, because he's distracted. He's yelling. "Aah!"
Yep.
Now, has the end of this fight got the big guy any reactions out of him, or is he still?
That's really the end of the main entertainment. Most of the folks on the platform start filtering down to the food. Because that was the final fight. But what you do notice now is that the whip comes as he appeared from underneath previously. Under this platform where the high rollers are, there's actually 2 gates that go into the arena. So he comes through one of these gates and comes in and starts spending time with the high rollers. This is another one of those perks of the high roller room. Is that occasionally the winners will stroll in.
Meet the
Spending time,
pros.
etc., etc. Meet the pros, all that kind of stuff.
I'm going to lean over to Thea and point out the pretentious fat fuck who was such a pig. If you feel like cleaning anybody out at the card tables, that one.
Noted.
Play up the dits, make them get cocky.
Will do.
I'm gonna go.
Look down on me, you smug sack of shit.
Petty vengeance. Petty vengeance.
Oh yes.
Delightful.
I'm gonna make my way down to the table for food. I've got the amulet. It's outside clothing layer.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. That
I'm
was
just going to see if that elicits any particular reaction or immediate response.
the teardrop.
Yes.
Was it the teardrop? Was it suspended in a web, or was it just the teardrop?
Just the teardrop.
Okay. So let me find out if he notices. Generally, he's busy being mobbed by all the fans. You do notice that he is really trying to get a drink, though, because apparently what he was doing was thirsty work.
Going to, since I'm not being mobbed, it's easier for me to get the drink. I'll take it. Kind of just use my staff to wedge people out of the way, give him a drink, and just kind of position it so he can't miss the amulet.
Yeah. Where did it go? There it is. He actually does seem to miss it at first. And then he does one of those double take kind of things. And he has this weird squeaky voice. He's like, "Many thanks." Glurg, down goes the drink. So there is a bunch more maneuvering, a bunch more, but his beady little eyes keep coming back to you. So you have successfully garnered his attention. It is going to take time. This crowd is going to be here for a bit.
Yep.
I'm going to munch on their hors d'oeuvres until then. I paid 50 gold. I'm getting my fucking value out of it.
Azathan, a better move might be to move away, let him deal his networking, and have a moment to slip to you later.
It might be.
I'm about to punish this buffet.
It might
Yeah.
be.
Do you
It'll
have the
never
bag
know.
with you, Azathan?
Mm-hmm.
He's just putting food into the bag.
Oh God, not one of those people.
Listen,
I'd like to.
He's there for the early bird special, and he's getting his money's worth.
If I may interject, I'd like to try and do a little faux networking myself. I'm curious about this big dude. What's his deal here? I can't get close to him, not with the guards there, but I'm hoping some appropriate twittering will help get me
Well,
a couple
so
details.
there is one person who has been sitting there who hasn't really said anything and didn't really say anything and hasn't gone down, who notices and essentially says, "You probably shouldn't go over there. He's not feeling particularly social this evening. Good luck." And just sort of wanders through.
All right, so that's a person who knows he's either A, a homicidal maniac, or B, just generally not to be fucked with.
Yeah, no, I don't want to approach him directly. That was
Why
never my
not?
intention, but good piece of advice there. No, I want to mingle with like the other patrons like over here.
So
I want to
this-
get the scoop.
as this is all going on, you do see after a while, Severin starts to look tired. Like it has this social part of it has taken more of a toll on him than the fight did.
I feel that.
And sort of it's one of those like it's a weird like you just get that sense, and just as you get the sense, you see the giant dude up there just sort of turn his head and look down. And that's when he decides it's time. So he stands up. Whoa.
It's all good.
Let me get my dude. If I can get my dude. There we go. He stands up, grabs his keg under one arm, drops down the stairs. The guards don't even bother. They're like, nope. He's on the move. We're letting him go.
Yeah.
They're crowd control more than anything.
Oh yeah.
As he's standing there, as he walks across, essentially gently nudging people out of the way, back underneath the shoves that person back underneath the platform. He walks up, sets his keg on the table, and announces rather than speaks, I think that's enough social time for him. Don't you? And essentially folks kind of scatter. Like, oh, look at that, time to go. So they one by one they drift away, and some more rapidly than others. But no matter the group, the personage, whoever they are, they sort of rapidly disperse. As you are standing there, though, Severin does motion like this to you, Azathan. Basically, gives you sort of a hand signal for hang out for a moment.
Out of character to remind, the idea is we're trying to get a sense of, you have your own objectives with the Weavers, I know, as a fan. Our goal in looking was also to see what their goals, the goals and intentions are of their group, particularly in regards to the Crimson Crescent.
So, notably, the giant dude kind of glances down at you, gives you the bleary eye, but then you hear Severin's squeaky little voice. I think we should have a chat with him. We could do it here. I think it's fine to do it here. Tell me where you got that.
Friend of yours in Rockvale.
Rockvale's a long way away. I don't have any friends out there.
Mutual acquaintance, I suppose.
And you realize as he's having this little conversation, you realize that the big dude is no longer giving you the squint like, why are you still standing here? Now he's sort of intently looking at you like, Rockvale. That's a long way away.
I've traveled a lot.
He hasn't turned around, and he points essentially over his shoulder and he's pointing right at where Thea and Elsbeth are standing. Are they with you?
They are.
Good. Turns his head, he's like, don't be back there. Stand over here.
Reasonable. What an awful time to go. No, they're not my friends. I don't know what you want.
They're probably agents of the Crimson Crescent.
Oh my god.
Well, you
Thea
find-
has one of their holy symbols.
You would find out his intentions pretty quickly.
Secret
Yes, in
double
the form
agent
of-
twist. Yeah, no one wants to catch a halberd to the fucking chest. No thanks.
As long as I get to walk away with it, I'll take one blow.
I get the feeling you would not be walking away so much as being shipped out in 2 different boxes.
I got enough hit points to survive one hit.
And a misty step for evasion purposes.
You ain't wrong.
He but as you're standing there, you do it's sort of an awe-inspiring thing. He has to be like half giant. He's like 8.5 feet tall. And just an absolute beast of a person. And you realize as you're sort of looking things over and whatever, he has this distinctly purple theme to his outfit. And then you realize as you look around, like all the furniture's got purple in it, all the rugs got purple in them,
The chair.
the chairs all got purple in the upholstery. You're like,
Me.
He
I'm
may
very
be
purple.
connected here somehow. So have it, you sort of have a little moment where you're like, everyone's sort of looking each other over. They're like, the big guy's like, I suppose we should talk business, but I'm tired.
I understand the feeling.
Severin throws him an eye like, you're tired. But it doesn't say anything. You just see that look like
Smart enough not to.
exactly. So Severin turns around, he's like, how did you get here particularly? Who sent you?
I've been looking for another individual, our mutual acquaintance, since Rockvale. I had to do some digging.
Well, I can see you enjoy the dirt.
Thea's just gonna bust out laughing at that.
He, as soon as you start to laugh, he winks at you. He's like,
Careful, he bites.
if you're serious, what are you prepared to do to help?
I need information. The last guy I talked to was rather tight-lipped. I have a couple questions, but for context, let me think of a better way to put this. Let me answer your question with a question. How do you feel about the color red?
The gigantic dude
Hmm.
just turns like full turn, like he's been standing there not doing anything. He full turns. You have his full attention. He's like, red is fine if you're bleeding.
So I assume we're on the same page about the color crimson then. Excellent.
So I'm actually going to take over the screen for a second since you're not moving around.
Yeah.
Just because I want you to be able to see.
Hey. It's my favorite duo.
Essentially, Severin turns to the big dude. He's like, listen, Duke, I think we should bring him in. We can have a chat. Is it just the three of you?
There are 5 of us. 2 are out in the air. 2 of us are out in the main area.
Let me guess. The muscle.
Subtle, aren't we?
To be fair.
He starts to giggle. He's like, I like you. Come on.
Yeah.
So he because I know we're coming up on Dundon's time of hard stop. He brings you out through the entry area where you were before, then past the cashier's area, and then out through, well, I suppose
Hold on.
if I were being clever,
Hold on.
I
Hold
could
on.
show you
As
the map again.
we are we're out walking out past the same people that checked us in, right?
No,
No.
you are going. Let's throw the map back up there.
I can share that real quick. Map is returned.
Takes you out this door over here, out the back, and then you get to see all of the back of house stuff, including so you see the roundhouse towards the top that has the look of direct, like they come out of the arena, they go into that small tower. The larger tower looks to be some form of, this is where all of the fighters go, kind of. If there's going to be first aid, it's going to happen there. If they're keeping the horses, it's between the two. There's sort of a mesh of operations, if you will, back and forth between these two things here. But they bring you around this corner, up the muddy path, and in the door at the end.
Did we grab Iadu and Dundon?
Oh, you should if you want them. You should dash and
Yeah.
get them.
Thea will grab their attention. So
Okay.
they're with us.
The speedy one.
So you two essentially get to get introduced in a very informal way of like, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Yeah.
And that's when you, as you come around the corner, essentially you're like, oh crap, this guy's huge, because you hadn't been able to see him from where you were.
And look at that freaking halberd.
And it's a beast of a halberd. It's humongous.
I know what I want to be when I grow up.
Now, Iadu, how tall are you?
6 foot.
Okay, so you're probably like up to his shoulders still.
Yeah. And that halberd I would be using 3-handed. Let's put it that way. I'd have to borrow somebody else's hand to swing that thing, but oh, is it purty.
It does look heavy. Um,
Yeah, I could cast fly on myself by trying to swing that thing around in a circle. I'd fly all right. What? Yeah.
I presume we're all heading out to this.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So they essentially the map is just for your reference of where it is that you've gone back of house.
Yep.
They bring you into this place that is part boarding house, part stable, part everything else, meeting rooms, planning rooms, all that kind of stuff happens here. Tell me, the big dude is like, tell me, have you encountered any of these cultists?
We've done more than encountered. We killed more than plenty.
He's not wrong. It's never been pretty.
So you've had success against them. This is a good thing. He turns to somebody that's sort of walking by. He just like waves a hand out. He's like, you go get them. Go. And the person's like, who has this minute of like, who the hell am I going to get? I'm going to go. Who am I getting? He's like, ah, Nira. That's her name. Get Nira and her friends. Bring them here. The guy's like, oh, thank God he said who. Yes, my duke. And he gone.
Did he say my duke or my dude?
My
Duke.
duke. You have the sneaking suspicion that this gigantic dude is Varen, who owns the Hippodrome. Because everything in here is kind of purple too.
Yeah.
Pretty.
And it all is sized to fit him. So you're not having a great time with things like chairs. You're
They're
like,
very comfy. Dundon especially is.
Dundon's like, come
Yeah,
on.
I'm
man.
like, hey, what's going on down here?
Shall I describe it to you or get you a box?
Wow. I need a fruit basket to sit on.
So actually, as you're coming in, Severin actually hangs back with Dundon. Hangs back. You're both moving at a pretty good clip for the two of you. The rest of them are like boom, 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 huge steps. You're like, yeah, I'll catch up. Severin hangs back. He's like, I suspect that if you're any good, you're going to be very popular. Play your cards right, because whether you like these folks or not, you can make a lot of bank. They've had a long time to think about this stuff. And with that, he bounds back up to the rest of the group. A little aside for Dundon. He brings you all into a meeting room. It seems like a relatively working waiting room. Or meeting room. There's a bunch of stuff that gives you the impression of like, okay, this is how we're gonna plan these things out, and this stuff is sitting over here. This looks like the planning sessions happen here. When you get settled, it takes a couple of minutes, but you hear folks coming down the corridor where you just came in. Quick knock at the door, and the person that got sent scrambling, running, opens the door. He says, "Here they are, sir." And then he sort of waves his arm and lets in 3 people. Those 3 people, everybody, I'm not sure what the role is going to be.
Eviscerate?
No, it's going to be more of a, how do you react to, and how do you like, what's a control your emotions, either you gasp or don't gasp kind of a.
It can be deception because you're specifically trying to school and not reveal something or hide the fact that you're that's honestly the of the 5th edition skills, that's honestly your best bet.
Well, which one is the best bet?
Deception.
Deception. Okay. So particularly Thea and Azathan, but everyone, please, with a small deception roll to see how you react.
Have a 16.
Okay.
I also have a 16.
18.
How's Azathan doing?
That's a 14.
So not terrible. Okay.
Cute.
Are you just rolling like shit today, Elspeth?
You're a little bit shocked as in the door walk 3 very old elves.
Hmm.
Hmm.
But something is a little bit off.
What kind of off?
So, if you were to describe a typical elf,
Mhm.
how would you describe a typical elf?
Tall,
elves
thin, generally ageless, somewhat
Graceful
androgynous.
Coloring,
Bright of features.
bright, blonde hairish kind of a thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
All of
blonde or
them.
silver.
All of them look like Tolkien elves.
Okay. Is that vaguely how you see yourselves?
Roughly.
Oh, I
I
guess
have
Thea's a
nicer hair.
tanner version of that. Yeah. Thea's got dark hair.
I mean,
dark
I'm a
hair,
dwarf,
darker
so
skin.
that's the one.
Azathan's freaking green.
These elves are not that. The one who walks in first is wearing muted dark brown leather and tanned black leather robes. His hair has gone like it's been bleached. It's white with tints of gray, and his skin is this weird off color purple. And notably, he only has one functioning eye.
Does he have an eye in the other eye socket? Or is it like, why are you saying it's not functioning? How do we see that?
Like that.
Hold on.
Oh, ow.
I didn't see. Hold on.
Interesting.
Oh.
Greetings. Greetings. He waves a hand. Duke Varan, thank you for bringing us in. I presume these folks, these fine young folks, are here to help.
As the 3 old elves all walk in, considering how odd they look, I immediately open the site.
Do they all have that skin tone?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Do I recognize anything about them?
So other than the massive elven bow that one of them
Well,
is dragging around with her, they all have that weird coloration. The third one is actually a bit smaller than the others. But the notable thing is that the buttons on his outfit and the handle of his knife are bone.
Interesting.
Now, when you say weird, is it weird because neither of us would have had heard of them before? Like that coloring of elves?
There
Or is it
are
just a
no
rare?
there are no old elves.
There are no old elves, and there are definitely none with that sort of coloration.
And there's no myths or any legends or anything in the elven lore.
Nope.
Nope.
Hence the immediate opening of the site.
The problem that we have, and part of why we are involved in looking, is that once elves get to a certain age, they kind of just disappear, which is why this is very odd. Help? Yes. We also have some questions, or at least and I'm going to motion over to Thea, and at least one of my companions do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully, we'll be able to answer some of those questions for you. But what we really need is assistance.
Assistance in
Ah,
what?
side question. Sorry. Dundon, the answer to your question is no,
Okay.
because they don't exist here.
Okay. That's what I thought.
But that
But
is certainly the look. You are getting
yeah.
that. You're getting this vibe of like, okay, these are supposed to be elves, but they don't look healthy.
They're not elves. They're not Keebler.
Yeah, they definitely ain't Keebler. There's no
Yeah.
quickies
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do they appear odd under the site?
Excuse me. Yes, they do. They have a decidedly different and distinct vibe to them. Their whole aura has just this kind of dark swirl to it. And as you're looking, you just kind of you're like, they just there's something about their aura that just projects anger.
I'm sorry. Did you say anger?
Yes,
Okay.
they are angry. What we would like to do is get some assistance. I'm afraid we have a fight on our hands, and the more people we can bring to this fight, the more good people, the better off I think we'll all be. You see, we've been fighting this group. I presume you've discussed this, or they wouldn't have brought you.
We've been fighting the Crimson Crescent.
Yes, just so.
Mhm.
Only we have some information about just how deep this problem goes. And the woman with the bow is like, "You're hilarious, deep." Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking as our distant kin, have you noticed certain age discrepancies?
There are no old elves.
because anyone with age, knowledge, and experience gets brought into the fight.
Which answers our question.
We
So-
have gone underground because that is the only true way. We must get to the root of this problem.
I assume that isn't a metaphor, and you're being quite literal.
Quite so.
I'm gonna look over at the end. Well, at least you have a lot longer than I do for your complexion.
And on that note,
So yes, we've run up against our time. We can pick up with the discussions of where it is you'd like to go, where it is they want you to go next for our next session.
Indeed.
yes.
Most excellent.
Let's hit
Excellent.
where is
Well,
our button? There it is.